again, going back to Chip Kelly and this and that, I think Chip Kelly kind of thinks that he knows what he's doing, and he's gonna try to find the best replacement, I guess, for him. And he said before, we're gonna do what's best for the organization. He also said how the offense doesn't revolve around one guy, and so I mean that's another factor. I guess he feels that DeSean Jackson is replaceable, and that's the bottom line. Despite the decent production that DeSean Jackson had in this offense, and the threat that he can be, I think Chip Kelly believes in what he's doing, and again, I mean, you go back to all the, I guess this culmination of issues when it comes to DeSean Jackson, the whole, gang sign things, and all the Instagram and Twitter stuff, and kind of sometimes being a baby on the field, on the sidelines, when he's not having a good game or this and that, when he's not getting the ball thrown his way, not being a leader in the locker room, just kind of overall general immaturity, I think, is come to a point now with Chip Kelly where they say enough is enough, and I guess it came to a point where they were going to try to get something for him. Maybe they could have done a little better job with that, but nevertheless, DeSean Jackson has been released from the team, and the Eagles as an organization got to move forward. And again, I mean, I was a little hard in the past. How the Eagles better be careful what they're doing here. I mean, DeSean Jackson was productive and this and that, but again, I mean, you gotta, I guess, try to think of yourself as, if you were Chip Kelly. I mean, because we don't know, but Chip Kelly is the coach of the team, and with what he wants to do, and I guess the ways he wants to do it, DeSean Jackson is not the kind of guy that he wants to have on the team, despite his decent production. And perhaps Chip Kelly thinks that DeSean was expendable in a way, despite not being, despite a guy like Riley Cooper maybe not being as much of a threat as DeSean Jackson. Again, I mean, Cooper's getting paid $5 million as opposed to DeSean Jackson was slated to get paid $11 million. And if I'm not mistaken, there are only 6 other wide receivers in the league that get paid more than DeSean Jackson. Although maybe there's a bit of overpay, and in fact, Chip Kelly making a value judgment there. For his production, maybe they can have somebody cheaper. But again, I'm not taking back my theory that I said last week that it had nothing to do with really freeing cap space on its own. Again, this whole DeSean Jackson release thing, I think it's a culmination of on-field and off-field immaturity, and now, especially recently, this whole gang sign issue that has definitely been thrown around now and reported. And I guess the bottom line is, not a Chip Kelly guy after all, and that's where we're at here right now on with the Philadelphia Eagles organization. And again, I mean, a lot of people a little shaky about this. Some fans that really didn't want DeSean Jackson released, being the most productive wide receiver on the team. But the Eagles, I guess we're in a tough position here. And they decided this is somebody we can't have on our organization. This immaturity is too much. DeSean Jackson is not, growing up or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying DeSean is, a terrible guy, but when you're running a $1 billion corporation, that is the Philadelphia Eagles, and enough is enough, I guess. And again, we don't know everything yet. I mean, there's still some things that are probably going to come out with all this, but for the Eagles' sake of their own reputation, I guess they figured it was time, and I guess I figure it's time that we head to the next break here on the Tyler Werner Show.